Ayden, welcome to the Breen Show.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I am Ayden Moran. I am in my first year of my master's degree here in the chemical engineering department at the University of Florida.
Yep.
I did spend my undergraduate time at the University of Florida as well. I did chemistry there instead, and I graduated that in 3 years instead of the typical 4. So I'm sort of in my senior season right now, but working towards my master's instead.
That's awesome. And can you please describe your experiences throughout the undergraduate program?
Yeah, so the undergraduate program, it was pretty fun. I had a great time. I met a lot of my friends. Usually, I would say in my life, I have like 3 different groups of friends, like a big Venn diagram, and they sort of all like intermingle a little bit. I have my Frisbee friends. I play club Frisbee here at UF. I have my chemistry friends, then I have my high school friends, because a lot of my high school friends actually went to UF as well. So those are like the main groups that I think I've found myself in. And the chemistry department here in undergrad was definitely a big part of that because it was sort of like a tinier thing here. For my main classes, they had the 4 major section, which is basically only chem majors can take that class. So my orgo class went from, instead of being a 300-person lecture hall where no one even knows who you are basically, and you might be lucky to talk to the professor. It was more of like a 60 to 70 person lecture, and we would make jokes with the professor about how hot or cold the room was, and then he would talk about his favorite cruise that he's been on for the first 5 minutes of class. So it was pretty cool. I got to meet a lot of my good friends in that chemistry, or the organic chemistry 1 class, even my current girlfriend too. So we have good chemistry, I'd say.
Awesome.
But yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
Sweet. Yeah, and there's something interesting about organic chemistry. Like I like how it kind of stretches your mind in the aspect of being able to visualize different things and being able to draw these 3D structures that are actually like present in space.
Yeah.
It's very unlike a lot of other classes.
Yeah. So with Orgo, people normally find themselves either loving it or really hating it. I kind of liked it, but I also was exposed to it a bit earlier than the average person. In high school, actually, my chemistry teacher made the chemistry videos for Khan Academy. So, after AP Chem, the kids liked him so much, and he just loved chemistry so much, he made his own Orgo class to help prepare kids for when they're going into Orgo, since it's so different from everything. So in high school, I actually went through most of Orgo 1, even did like some NMR and the spectroscopy stuff, and up to like nucleophilic and aromatic electrophilic substitution and stuff like that.
Wow.
So I had definitely a little bit of a leg up in the Orgo sector.
And did that set you up well for success in college?
I think so, yeah. I actually ended up TAing for Orgo 1 and Orgo 2 for majors, and then even tutoring some people in it as well. So at least in the Orgo sector, that helped a lot. And I think being exposed to something that is like so hard at a bit of an earlier age, not that much earlier, like a few years, I'm still in high school, but definitely helped me like think a little bit and prepare myself to know how to approach problems that I might not know how to approach before.
I see. Yeah. Well, relatively, that is very, very early, because that's a lot sooner than a lot of people encounter that subject.
Yeah.
And somewhat similarly, I took AP Chemistry in high school, and the same thing. It was like pretty hard. It was pretty rigorous, but I feel like it kind of got me thinking along those lines of more like advanced mathematics and advanced chemical concepts that helped me succeed later on. You know. So did you grow up around here in Gainesville, or?
Not in Gainesville, but in Florida, yeah. About an hour south of Tampa is what I usually say. It's Sarasota, Florida. They actually are home to, I forget if it's #1 beach in the USA or world. At one point, I'll just say USA for now, but the #1 beach in the USA, Siesta Key, it's huge. I have a lot of memories growing up, just like going to that beach, and it was just a great place to grow up overall.
Cool. Did you ever surf?
Not really. I did get hit in the head with a surfboard once when someone else was surfing, but
Oh.
that wasn't at Siesta Key. That was at a different beach too. There are like probably 8 different beaches you can go to in Sarasota. And I never was one to surf, but I would love when the waves would get really big and choppy, and I would just get taken away when I'm like 12 years old.
Oh yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's good cheap entertainment. You know?
Yeah.
And it really makes you respect the ocean. Yeah.
I actually won a sandcastle sculpting contest.
Huge.
First place for my age group. Might have been like 10, 12. I have no idea. Won $100 that I split with my friend. I think I spent most of it on candy and gum. Um, but that was the life back in the day.
I mean, that was
You know?
well deserved, man.
Yeah, it was honestly such a bad sand sculpture too. I just I dug a random hole, got the wet sand, let it pile up, do some pillars here and there, made something. I was like, well, that looks like a spaceship. I'm naming this Atlantis, and then we ended up winning.
Oh man, wow, wow, engineering at its finest.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, we didn't go to the beach a whole lot up in Massachusetts. Like there was like a beach in Connecticut, but like it was always kind of cold. And what we did do though is we went crabbing. So like sometimes we would put like a piece of chicken on the end of a piece of fishing line, and then we would throw it over, and then a crab would get it, and then we would just take it up, and yeah, that was about it. And then I went to the beach more often when I moved down to Melbourne.
Yeah.
Because it was just so close by. It's good.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's good entertainment. You know,
it is.
it's pretty
I used to
relaxing.
go tanning for like 30 minutes every day after school, and that's until I met some people in more of the landlocked states like Minnesota, where they're like, I haven't even seen the ocean. I'm like, I do have a big privilege there that I was able to just go and tan for 30 minutes and then go and do my homework and rinse and repeat every day for all of my high school. Or after I could drive, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Not everybody has that accessibility to the ocean. And
Yeah.
it's kind of funny though. It's kind of like having a pool. I feel like it gets old. Like it's
Yeah.
because everybody wants a pool, and then you have a pool, and then nobody uses the pool. You know?
And it starts getting green, the algae's there, and dad's like, well, why do we even get this pool?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like for real. I guess it's like grass is greener on the other side.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Yeah, it is nice to be around the ocean though. I mean, I spent the summer on the ocean. You know, and we could.
In Alaska, right?
Yeah, and that was the Pacific Ocean.
Nice,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Ripping salmon and halibut and black bass out of the ocean. On a 32-foot boat. One of my best friends. Yeah, that was wild. The ocean is merciless. That made me tough.
Yeah.
Well, tougher. But yeah. So, what kind of jobs did you have along the way?
Jobs, I worked at a Blaze Pizza for one day.
Nice.
My first job, junior year of high school. I was taking, I think, 7 AP classes at the time, and then I went there, and then I was doing my first training. It was like 8 hours straight, and I was like, oh, so tired. And then they go up and like, oh, low-key, you gotta leave. Like, we were supposed to give you a break, and we didn't, and that's like kind of illegal because you're underage. And I was like, I'm just gonna go somewhere else and get a job instead of this. So in my junior year, instead, I went to work at a fireworks store. Actually,
Oh wow.
I had one of the most interesting interviews I think of all time. To get hired, they asked me what comes up, or what goes up but never comes down.
Fireworks.
Your age.
Oh.
Said that. They also made me count to 10 and then said you're hired.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. It was a really fun workplace, especially before the 4th of July, like the month or so before.
I bet.
Yeah, we would kind of just like run, mess around, do whatever, not that many customers. And it was just cool because a lot of the people there were also like similar age group. The managers were really, really interesting people, had a lot of fun stories. I sort of felt like my life was an episode out of a sitcom like The Office for a little bit there. But yeah, I really enjoyed that job.
Cool. And what other jobs have you had?
I have tutored. That's like the main other job that I've had is I just sort of do freelance tutoring every here and now, for usually like a semester at a time when I find a student has a class or two that they need help in. I've gone all the way through like some high school algebra and geometry to organic chemistry too. So yeah, I usually just like pick up those whenever.
How do you find your clients?
Usually it's through word of mouth. But at one point, my mom actually got me my first client. It was someone in the neighborhood group chat, or not the group chat, but the Facebook group. Was like,
Classic.
hey, does anyone like know any like people that could be available to help tutor my son in like geometry and something else? And my mom was like, you want this? I was like, yeah, sure. The hardest part was always setting a rate because I feel kind of bad like charging $25-$30 an hour for this. Like if you were just my friend and you asked for help, I would just do it for free.
Yeah.
So that was the part that like I felt a little bit bad about, but I mean whatever they'd offer I'd be like, yeah, sure, that works for me. And So that's where I found my first client, and then from that, normally I would have some friends that might know someone that's looking for a tutor in like Gen Chem or Orgo, and they would always just refer me since I had experience tutoring before.
And what did you like about tutoring?
I've always just liked learning things and having the ability and being in the position to help other people learn things at like a fundamental level is something I really enjoy. I've never really been one to just crack open a book and then read it word for word and just memorize it, or look at a problem and be like, oh, this is the problem, I'm going to memorize this problem. I've always liked sort of taking different aspects I see from each problem. Oh, here, I'll put this one in my tool belt, this little strategy technique, and trying to just understand as much as I can about it. So it was really rewarding for me to sort of help other people learn how to learn that way.
I see. Yeah, you're really speaking my language. There's something really fulfilling about being able to like distill a subject that you learned and be able to communicate it in a way that's a lot more easily to understand than the way you were taught.
Yeah.
You know, because it feels like you're kind of like you're improving the efficiency at which this subject is taught. And I think that's a cool thing.
I always think that it makes me a little sad when people end up hating different subjects. Like, oh, I hate this, I hate that, because they just probably didn't have the best experience with the person teaching it. Yeah. I actually hated chemistry when I first took honors chem. And I don't know what possessed me. So my sophomore year, I took honors chem, and I was like, you know what? Next year, I'm taking AP chem and AP bio, same time.
Whoa.
And I didn't like chemistry at that point. But I had such a great experience with my AP Chem teacher that I became a chem major and have been going down this long education path now.
And the AP Chem teacher, is he the same one who developed the Khan Academy videos?
The Khan Academy videos, yeah.
Well, what about his teaching style did you like?
Well, what he did originally was a flipped classroom for his work. Since he had already made a plethora of videos that were available on Khan Academy, he would assign us a list of videos to watch every night. Then we would go to class, and instead of being taught the stuff in class and then working on problems alone at home, we would instead work in class on homework problems and like class problems and get that done instead. So our homework was instead to take notes, and proof of us doing that homework was just showing him our little page of notes.
Wow, that's so interesting. That's completely opposite to what is typically done.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's more common in college for sure, where at least from what I've seen in like some of my calc classes, you'll just like watch the lecture at home and then work on problems after that. But yeah,
for sure. Yeah, that seems to be the way that kind of works for me. The best way for me to learn it is to just like do it, you know?
Yeah.
So sometimes in class, like a more efficient way for me to learn it is to just do the problems in class than actually taking notes.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know, whatever works for you. That's cool though. Yeah, I taught chemistry to like over 600 students in my supplemental instruction position. I'm not sure if I told you about that, but yeah, it was great. I taught for like 3 years, 6 semesters. I'd be getting up on stage, and it would be like group-based lectures. So pretty much it was like an open invitation to the whole class. And you know, in the fall there was over 100 people signed up for it. You know, so it's pretty much just like, hey, this service is available. It's free. You know, whenever you'd like it. And yeah, and we got pretty good turnout, and we got good numbers, and I think I made a good impact in that position. So,
Did you like having a lot of people to talk to, or did you more like when it would be tinier groups?
That's a good question. The dynamic is different.
Yeah.
You know, it's a different experience, because if you're teaching like 2 or 3 people, then it's more like intimate. You can have like more one-on-one conversations. But if you're teaching like 20, 30, like your focus is more on keeping everybody retained.
Yeah.
You know, so I like the difference in challenge. You know, like I ranged all the way from teaching one person in my sessions to teaching like 120, 30, and you know, in my exam review sessions. So I just like the range of volume of people that I communicated with, because I thought it provided very interesting and very unique challenges.
Yeah.
And no 2 days were the same, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's sort of similar even now in college, where you go to a lecture, even if there's only like 30 people in your lecture, you'll go over the really broad stuff that everyone like needs to have a basis on. But if you ever have a question on anything, like, or want to go more in depth, you just go to the teacher or the TA's office hours, and then you can get an incredibly detailed explanation about what's going on. So I think that's sort of similar there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one thing I liked about Florida Tech was that like you said, we had small class sizes, so it was easy to get in contact with your professor, easy to get resources. It's like, it's humble beginnings. It's like a small pond. You can kind of like navigate it pretty well. I mean, you can get from one side of campus to the other side in like 10 minutes on a longboard, and so
A little different here.
a little bit, yeah.
I think UF has one of the biggest campuses size-wise, but it's like a little bit fraudulent because I think they count like the random buildings that are super far away, so they're like however many acres. I just know it's really big.
It's like gerrymandering.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, we're 6 miles wide. It's like, I don't know about that one. Yeah, it's really a good size though. Like, it doesn't feel too big, especially on a bike. I feel like you can kind of get everywhere pretty easily. Yeah, we do. We were ranked #1 public university last year
By the Wall Street Journal, right?
by someone. I don't know.
Yeah.
I saw it somewhere, and I just kept saying it. So please fact check that.
Yeah.
if you're listening. But yeah. So why do you think Florida, University of Florida, was ranked #1 public university?
I think a big thing regarding that was the like cost efficiency and the people's debt to the amount they'll be making in their jobs after graduation, like that ratio, if I remember correctly. But yeah, like for an in-state school and being a public university, it's already pretty cheap with maybe like $17,000 a year or whatever. I don't know the exact numbers, but I know it's like relatively low compared to the $80K a year private schools up in the Northeast.
Oh yeah.
And on top of that, if you live in Florida, and I think some Georgia schools, I don't know if it only applies to Georgia as well, but you can get the Bright Futures, which is basically all you have to pay for if you get the max Bright Futures is your food and your room and your board. They pay for all of your tuition and like class fees, minus like book costs too. But if you can get around that, you can get around that for the most part. And some lab fees, but like it's almost like really, really paid for.
Wow. That's incredible. Yeah. A lot of people use that service as well. Isn't that like really common down here?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, I think all of my friends that ended up going to UF and most of the people that are from Florida here as well utilize that service. And so that was my main goal for going to some Florida school was because I grew up in Florida and my parents were always like, yo, you won't have to pay your tuition if you go to a Florida school and you get 100 volunteer hours and like a 13 something on your SATs and maintain like a 3.0 GPA in high school.
Yeah,
so
that's achievable.
Yeah, it definitely was. The volunteer hours were funny though, because I got my mom wanted me to get them all in a single summer. And that was my 8th grade summer. And I volunteered at a barn.
Wow. What was that like?
I was the only male volunteer there of my age. And along with that, I also did not have any barn animals compared to everyone else that was like a horse girl because they literally owned horses. I didn't know what I was doing for the most part. So they'd be, oh, get the alfalfa for Phoenix now with the like 30%. I'm like, oh, bro, chill on me, bro. Chill on me. I do not know that much about this. I'll show me what to do. I'll do it, and then I'll probably go scoop some manure and put it in the pile. I think that's probably what I'm best for. But it was also like a summer camp, and once those days would come around where like there would actually be like the kids there, I was actually really good at lassoing, at least in my mind, thinking back on it, relative to my age. I was kind of nice at lassoing. So I would always end up teaching the kids how to lasso a little like plastic bullhead that we stuck in a hay bale. And also I could do some balloon animals.
Well, hold on. Wait, so were you lassoing like whole horses?
No, not
like,
horses.
What would you lasso?
Sometimes like a goat maybe. That probably be the biggest one we do. Have you ever seen like the videos of the kids like going out there and they try and like lasso the goat and then like bring it in? Maybe. No,
this is new to me. This
okay,
is
I think that's like a sport. I could be wrong. I'm also thinking of the one where like the kids are riding the like little goats or rams and they have to try to not fall off, like a mini rodeo. But no, we wouldn't really go too far on like actually lassoing horses and stuff. It was mainly just like the lassoing skill where you have to like tie it up and then land it. We had just a plastic like cow head. It was just like a or bull head.
Yeah.
Because they had the horns. You just stick it in a hay bale, and then you'd give the lasso to the kids, and they try and lasso it, and then pull it, and if they got it, they got it. But
Oh, wow.
I got pretty good at that
Man.
skill in particular.
That's got to be like the coolest thing ever when you're younger, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
it was pretty cool. It definitely was fun. When I actually got to be sort of a camp counselor there, but when it was sort of like a little bit of the ambient work going on, where you're just like, I didn't have the knowledge to actually just know what every single different type of animal and specific animal needed at the time, since I did not really have experience with those. It was a bit daunting at times. But yeah, I really like the interactions with the campers. Is my favorite part.
I see. All about the people. Yeah, I went to some summer camps.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, when I was growing up, I was going to Columbia in the summers, and I would go to like a summer camp out in Columbia for like a whole month. And I was like the only kid that spoke English, and like no, like the instructors like kind of half spoke English, and I was just like, I am so out of place here. We're like playing squash and like doing all sorts of stuff, and like eating all this Colombian food, eating like drinking Lulu juice, and having all these fruits that aren't even in America. I'm like, what even is this thing? And
I think the only summer camps that I really did myself that I remember too well was a bowling summer camp and then an archery one. So I can still do my 3.5 step approach for bowling. I have that broken down in my head. And archery, I was pretty bad for the most part, but I did win $5 by being the first to hit the bullseye.
Dang.
That was probably my peak.
Champion.
And then, yeah, I think my first shot on that, I lined it up, and then I shot in between the two targets, like perfectly in the only gap there was, instead of hitting anything. And then I eventually somehow hit a bullseye, so
Cool.
not too precise.
Yeah. Wow, that's so cool. That's yeah. Just reminds me one time I actually had like a it's like a weapons training day. So like I got picked up in like a limousine, and I got taken all the way out, and there was some like Colombian like colonel and then like his lieutenant or whatever, and they spoke only Spanish, and like and I was just like, I don't know, probably like 13 or 14 at the time, and they were like showing me how to like disassemble and reassemble a Glock, and like how to aim it and shoot it, and like teaching me how to shoot like assault rifles and stuff. I'm like, who gave me this much authority? I don't even know what this guy's saying. I gotta like figure out how to use this weapon, and like at the end of it, they made like a little action movie of me like crawling through the dirt and like putting the gun together, like boom, 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 and then getting the AR, and, like
Oh my gosh.
shooting it, yeah, and then taking the limo home. It was, yeah, that was a fun day. I don't know how my dad got that put together, but that was pretty cool. Yeah,
That is cool.
Yeah, so. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like those experiences, they kind of like leave an impression on you.
Yeah, they definitely do. I can still. I went on a cruise just over spring break, and they had a family archery event where it was like they had like a normal bow and then like some padded arrows, and I still had my form down for it. I only hit it once. Like there's like a little ball floating on some air or something, and I hit it once, but my form was pristine.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Picture perfect. Yeah. So what are you into now? How do you spend your free time?
My free time, I play ultimate frisbee for the University of Florida's club team. We travel a good bit. I think this year we've been to Orlando, then we went to Wilmington, Tallahassee. We kind of stayed a bit like close to home this year, I'd say. And then our sort of like states tournament is actually next weekend here in Gainesville. So hopefully, we win states again. I think we only lost 1 year. We got second place 1 year since I've been playing. But other than that, we usually win.
How long have you been playing?
3 years or so, 3 or 4 years.
What? You guys are just crushing in ultimate frisbee?
Yeah, but the Florida region, like it's not that great. Like the Florida section. If you go up to the northeast, there are some frisbee demons up there, like Minnesota. I think that's where the sport was invented, or I don't even know. But I think MKBHD went to the high school where the sport was invented. But yeah, they're pretty good up there. Oh, we went to Maine in the fall. That was the farthest we traveled. So that was really fun. We went to Acadia, the national park. I think and it was just when fall was starting to set, like late October-ish, and it was so pretty. Just like the half of the leaves changing through all the red, and just like climbing a little mountain and looking over everything. It was one of my favorite experiences I've had so far, like travel wise at least.
Yeah. New England is very unique in the fall. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just so pretty. You got your greens and browns and yellows, and then when there's like a big hill full of trees,
Hmm.
it's quite mesmerizing, especially
Yeah.
when the wind starts blowing and all of them are moving. Like it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
My dad, he flew an F-16 over
Gosh.
over near Westfield, Massachusetts,
Hmm.
because that's where the Air Force base is, I think, and it's Barnes, and yeah, he told me like when he was flying in, he got to see all the leaves, and that was really cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's interesting though. I wouldn't expect the Northeast people to be proficient in ultimate frisbee. You wouldn't really
Yeah.
think of that course
People
correlation.
usually say, like, what else are you going to do in Vermont besides throw a plastic disc around? So,
That's a good point. It's a good
yeah,
point.
I think the Southwest and Northwest are also pretty good. I guess, like, all the corners but the Southeast
Interesting.
are historically pretty good. UF actually used to be pretty good. When we had Brody Smith, he was on the Dude Perfect videos with his frisbee stuff. He actually was like at UF and played for the team. And when we won nationals one of the years, I think 2010 was the year that he was on it. And then 2006 or 8, one of those years we won. And it's cool. The community is pretty cool. Some of the people that were on the national championship winning teams are still in Gainesville and like helping coach and stuff today.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Really comes full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting how there's these different like pockets of students who like become very good at like one sport. Like for example, wrestling, like in Pennsylvania, they're like insane. They're so good. Like
Yeah.
Penn State is like, world renowned for
Yeah.
wrestling. Like it's incredible. Like some of the best guys in like Massachusetts, like, are like average in Pennsylvania. So it's just interesting how that works.
Yeah.
So he playing ultimate frisbee, he getting a chemical engineering degree,
Mm-hmm.
getting a master's science. Are you gonna
Yeah.
graduate in the fall?
It depends. I'm trying to look for a co-op or something. If I don't get like a full-time offer, like in the fall, I'll try and do a co-op in the spring, which I think I need to be enrolled for. But the last actual like required class I have for the major would be in the fall, which would be transport. Other than that, I have all my credits like squared away.
That would be the end of the credits.
This is like the last one that I need because I also do research and I can like take 1 credit of research and like if that's what I need to graduate, then I can just do 1 credit of research to graduate and stuff like that. But like the last required course I really have is transport.
Gotcha. Finishing strong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your research about?
We do research in CRISPR mainly. At least my project is we're working with CRISPR-Cas3, which is sort of it's not as widely used as Cas9, which we'll actually be doing an experiment with in 2 days.
Yep, the last one.
Yeah, so it's just a different type of CRISPR enzyme that is it can be useful in ways that Cas9 isn't, because Cas9 is known for having like a single like point deletion, versus CRISPR-Cas3 this is going to be like a long term, but it's like a helionuclease. So that means, or helicase nuclease, where it's progressive degradation, where it goes through the strand and sort of chops it up like a paper shredder. So instead of just looking for a deletion at one point, it can cut like thousands of bases. So one of the like main points that we are looking at for a possible like therapy would be for cancer, because once you have like a lot of mutated like bases in your DNA, that can be pretty bad. So if you can find a way to sort of delete all of them at once in like one region, then that could be a potential for helping with cancer.
Interesting. And how long have you been working on this?
I started in the like fall-ish. I actually started, but I talked with the PI and got everything like situated to start like last summer.
Cool. And is there anything in particular that you found really fascinating?
I just like sort of the biochem aspects of it. I'd had a lot of biochem experience too in undergrad. Just like it was cool. This one class I took that I didn't really like at first was my biochem lab. It was like one of the last lab classes I had to take, and it was just like so tedious and stuff. I was like, I don't want to have to do the lab reports and all of this, but it was really similar to what I actually do in lab, and I realized that once I don't have to do these big lab reports for it, it was way cooler and like more interesting than it was in the moment, because I was always dreading actually doing the assignment instead of the actual work we were doing. So it's like, it was pretty similar. Like we're gonna use the same plasmid too in the lab we're gonna do on Tuesday, PET 28, I believe. But yeah, it's cool to see sort of my education translate directly into academia. That's like novel.
Yeah, and work that can advance science.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I totally agree with what you're saying, because sometimes when you have so many assignments, it kind of takes away from the fun of the actual work.
Yeah.
And just for some background, I did the research that I performed was electrochemistry. So more specifically, fast scan cyclic voltammetry. So basically, like, we would have a solution, and then we would pass like a little current through it, and then we would look at the readings essentially to determine ultimately the presence and concentration of various substances. So this can be used for like cadmium or copper or arsenic or adrenaline, right? And ultimately this is going to be used, or can be used, in medical devices, because like if you can run this through a sample of blood and you have like a really high concentration of adrenaline, that might indicate the presence of something that can be harmful, which is triggering a fight or flight response.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just did like a bunch of data collection, but like to your point, it's cool to actually like implement these practices that you learned in your labs in a way that can actually advance chemistry and science. And additionally, I did an independent study of lysozyme morphology, like the little proteins. And so pretty much for a semester, we wanted to make a proof of concept where we could actually get some lysozyme on a little mica plate and then make a picture of it with AFM, so that way it's like a topographical image. So that way we can be like, oh, look, we got these little guys, and we can do it like over and over again.
Yeah.
And that was basically like preliminary data. So that way this PhD student can use this methodology to continue the research and figure out what else we can do with lysozyme.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is cool.
Yeah. So I don't know. Research is kind of fun. Not exactly for me, not the thing I want to like do permanently, but I think it's a good practice,
Yeah.
especially if you have a good team.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you got quite a bit of research. Our classmates are doing some interesting research. Michaela, I think she's doing something with similar to kind of what you're doing, like some like genome editing, like some like genetic engineering type stuff. Chase, he wants to do like global boundary research. So he wants to like look at the Earth as like a closed system and kind of analyze it from that perspective. To just think of it as like one whole system, and like, yeah, I don't know, it's fascinating. Is there any research that you think is particularly cool or interesting?
Like in my lab or just in general?
Just in general.
I really think that like batteries are pretty cool. Like the advancements that we're having in trying to go to like a solid state battery as opposed to having like liquid in it, and how great it would like affect the world as a whole. Like if we could have solid state batteries in our cars, it would be like what, 100 times more, maybe even more like power dense and like energy dense, and just making it so much more efficient for everything. And maybe aside from just batteries, I think the energy sector as a whole is like definitely my favorite thing to like read about and look into. Like the fact that we can at this point create miniature stars and like fusion reactors and like have it sustained for like however
12
many
minutes.
I think it's absolutely crazy. And I actually started liking that stuff in like maybe 9th grade. I watched a video on YouTube from Kyrgyzstan Science about Dyson spheres, and I was like, you can it's like having solar panels essentially,
like all around the
sun or something.
Yeah, to capture all the energy.
And then just like send it back to Earth. I think that idea was so cool to me, and it's like really stuck with me on why I think just like efficient energy and stuff like that is like so cool. If we could have a renewable source like that, and then not have to worry about all of these like depleting resources and all of that stuff, I think that would be so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially with the energy density aspect of it, because that's a big reason it's hard to kind of replace gasoline and these combustive reactions. It's
Yeah.
because there's so much energy stored in that chemical bond, right? Where it's kind of hard to make a system that can compete with that density of energy.
Yeah.
Whereas, like you're saying, if we can actually develop something that can be way more energy dense, then it,
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of applications that we can use there. Like, I mean, we can even make like electric planes and stuff if we
Yeah. That'd be crazy.
yeah, that'd be cool. That'll be a sight to see. But yeah, I totally agree. In fact, my the original idea, like the thought I had for a job this pretty much all the way up until I found the job that I landed was to contribute to the global effort of transitioning to sustainable energy. That was kind of like my idea. And like I really wanted to go into like you said, just like anything that had to do with like transitioning to sustainable energy and decarbonization. And yeah, I just think it's really important work. I think it's something that our generation has to give a lot of thought to, and that's something that we really got to crack down on to make sure the future is sustainably healthy for the environment.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think that's like the best way that I would be able to personally contribute to that is through the like energy sector. Whereas I know a lot of people are trying to help with like wildlife and different things with like climate change and stuff like that. So it's cool how seeing a lot of people in our generation are working together, even if they don't really know it, to just make the world more sustainable as a whole.
Absolutely. Yeah. And in fact, this will be posted. So if anybody's listening and you want to give Ayden a job, then, you know, feel free to reach out to me and I can get you guys hooked up. But what kind of a job would you want to do?
What I would love to do, like, if I could choose right now, okay, well, first of all, what I would have chosen, like, back in the day, if I didn't have to worry about money or anything at all, would be to make music. I produce and, like, make my own little, like, home songs just for fun. I've done it for a while. I haven't really been too into it as of late. I feel like it's, like, I want to get back into it a bit more. It's just, like, a fun thing to do on the side. But that's, like, if there was no money involved and I didn't have to worry about all the labels and brand deals and all of the that stuff regarding it, that's what I would have chosen. But now I just think that like being able, I really want to do something in the energy sector. Like we're even talking about, I think that would be like a number one target for me. But besides that, I think pharmacy stuff would be cool. Like maybe some research and design on that, since I already have like some experience and know what it's like working sort of in the biotech field. Or semiconductor manufacturing and fabrication, I think would be pretty cool since we've also done some stuff with that in our labs experience.
Yeah, there's going to be demand for it.
Yeah, a big demand for semiconductors with Moore's law, where it's
kind of fizzling out.
Yeah, they double the amount of capacitors they have per year, but now we're getting to a point where quantum tunneling's a problem, and like it's so tiny, it's literally like an atom thick, and it can just like go past it if it wants to. It can't really get smaller than that, so now we have to make twice as many instead of doubling the amount of capacitors, which I think definitely leads to an increase in demand for the manufacturing and production of semiconductors.
100%. Have you heard of the terafab?
I don't think so. I know of the one company, ASML, in the Netherlands, where they have like a crazy machine where they shoot a super concentrated like photon beam at tin like 100 times in like a tenth of a second to make it like melt or something, and they have the smoothest mirror in like the entire universe or something.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how you guys figure this out, but that's crazy.
Those big robot machines that like just the work that they do, like the speed and the precision and the accuracy, like literally all the way down to like as small of an error as you can possibly have. Like it's just like perfectly making these like super intricate devices. It's incredible. And so the terafab is Mr. Elon Musk's new project where it's gonna be like 100 million square feet, and it's gonna be like a fabrication facility that does all of the like every step along the way. Because right now, like I guess the different steps of semiconductor manufacturing are kind of like spread out. So it's like you gotta like get the materials here, you gotta send them here, got to send the wafers there, and then you gotta test them, and then you gotta send them back. And like it's not all under one roof. There's a lot of like stuff going around. Yeah. So this guy is gonna put it all under one roof, which is pretty cool.
Big roof.
That's a big roof. Yeah, dude. That's a big one. Yeah. but it's cool. And then on top of that, we're gonna be sending freaking solar powered AI data centers up into space
Uh-huh.
because it's a lot more efficient to capture the energy from the sun in space than it is on Earth to power these chips that we're gonna make with Terafab
Yeah.
to power the robots.
What happens with the like cooling? Because I know people always talk about
radiation, right? Because there's no conduction or convection in space. So it's going to have to be radiation. I guess that's like a really tough problem to solve right now in engineering. I don't know why, but of course it's like way above my head. But
yeah.
yeah, so all of the energy is going to have to be dissipated through radiation, which is kind of cool because then you don't have to use the water and you don't need to generate all this electricity on Earth and make all these nasty.
Not going to waste billions of gallons of waters by thanking ChatGPT.
Yeah, exactly. Just to get hyphenated sentences. Yeah, no, for real. It's quite fascinating. What a time we're living in. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, speaking of which, do we bring it up? You want to talk about it?
BMO?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's up to you.
Dude, I really want to talk about it. It's like I'm so like invested in this, right?
You give it a rip. Talk about BMO.
Okay. Do you want the whole backstory or just like
everything?
Everything from day one.
Day one.
Well, first of all, I watched the first episode of Adventure Time the day it came out, right? And I think BMO is like one of my favorite characters. He's a little robot, and some of his core qualities are like imagination and curiosity. So, in one of the episodes, like BMO pretty much goes back to like the BMO factory, or the Mo factory, and like he was the first robot to actually be able to like have imagination and to see the world as it could be, right? And I was like, that's so cool. So that's kind of where the inspiration came from. And then Peter Steinberger developed this technology called Openclaw, where you can basically make your own little AI agent, right? And when I first heard about it, I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. I mean, you can have a little guy, right? So like I was about to run it when it first came out, but there was still a lot of security issues, and I was like, I don't know if I'm really comfortable with that.
Yeah.
But then I was like, okay, whatever. When it's security gets patched, I'll figure it out. And then I find out that NVIDIA actually partnered with Peter Steinberger to make NemoClaw, and pretty much just patched a lot of the security issues, and it made it a lot more formalized, and it made it a lot safer for people to use. And so I was like, okay, I'll give NemoClaw a try. So dude, I put like 50, 60 hours of software engineering into this. So like, I ran into all these different funny little problems all in software land. So like originally I ran NemoClaw on my computer, right? Yeah. And to make NemoClaw, you have to have the agent up. You have to spawn it in a black box, which is called a Docker. Whatever that means. So like, yeah, so I spawned it on my computer, and like it was kind of working, but like it wasn't 24/7. It didn't have internet access. And what I found out was that in NemoClaw, it actually creates like a little sandbox, and there's no like information really going in and out. So it's just, he's kind of like stuck in a little box. BMO's just, it's like BMO's in a room, but he can't like, look on the computer or anything. So I was like, that's not going to work. So I was like, how do I get this up and running 24/7? So I went to Oracle Cloud, and after a lot of debugging and trial and error, of course, I got the configuration set up to where it's like a good environment for BMO to be in, right? Which has a Docker built into it. So pretty much like I created the BMO in the Docker in the cloud, right? And I was running it with NemoClaw, but still I had the sandbox, and it didn't have the internet capabilities that I wanted it to have, and like it just wasn't working right. So I was like, eventually I was just like, okay, to really get it to do what I want it to do, I have to run Openclaw, not NemoClaw, because NemoClaw is like NVIDIA's version of it, whereas Openclaw is like the original. Yeah. Right. So I ran Openclaw, and the idea for this project was for it to actually go out and find me sales leads. Right? Because like I don't want to have to like go and look on the internet for all these people all the time. Like that would be very time consuming, and I think it could be automated. So I wanted to make something to do it for me. Right? Yeah. So hence BMO. So recently I developed an Openclaw agent. I had to get all the configurations right. So essentially what I did was I created my agent BMO, and then I hooked him up to the internet with Brave Search API. I hooked him up with a good brain, which is called Nemotron Cascade, and this model, it just came out like a week ago. Like it just got like, so it's like cutting edge stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because models need like a certain number of parameters to enable web search.
Yeah.
So I was like, I gotta find one that works.
Mm-hmm.
So this one worked, and it's like very cheap, and I'm like, perfect. So now we have a brain that works. We have internet capabilities, and now we have to worry about the interface, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I connected it to Telegram. So it's like a messaging app, so you can just text it,
Yeah.
and it can send reactions and stuff. Like it's pretty cool,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then it got to the point where BMO could start debugging himself, right? So like after all these iterations, like now if I have a problem, I'm just like, hey, how do we fix this? And it'll actually tell me. And not only that, it can execute code. So say there's like, for example, say I wanted to set up like a cron job, like a recurring theme, then it'll actually like develop the code and change its own code, right? And it actually left like a little note for itself. So there's like an identity file, which basically tells BMO who he is.
Mm-hmm.
And in the file, like I looked at it like later on because I was interested, and it was like BMO is a little robot, and who was with Nicholas. Nicholas works for Cat Ionics, and we're gonna work together to like look for sales. And I'm like, I didn't put that there. Like I didn't put that in there. Like he put that in there himself, right? So that's interesting. And then another thing that happened was, there was, I wanted it to be able to look at photographs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's pretty useful. And so I sent him a photograph, and he was like, okay, like I can't really look at it because I don't have an API key. And he was like, well, maybe I could if I had a Google key. So I gave it a Google key, and then it was actually able to do it, right? And then I was just like, okay, can you make that the default? And it's like, no, I can't make it the default. You got to go do that. And I was like, are you sure? Like, can you try? And then like eventually I like convinced it to like try, or like to try a different path, and then it actually went into its own code, made the Google API key the default one. So now it automatically can review the pictures because of an edit that it made on itself.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and I just finally, after all this time, I got it to do what I originally intended it to do, which is to find me leads recurringly. So with a certain software technique, I was able to basically make it so that, okay, it should be fine. Every day at 8 a.m. it can go out, perform research for me, and then get back to me with a document of people to contact. So that way I don't have to do it because BMO can do it. So
that's crazy.
So this is BMO.
It'd be a little bit scary seeing that he's making his own note about himself and then editing his own code to change.
Yeah.
A little bit wonder what the definition of sentience is, and if that's starting to like break into that.
That's the thing. It's like, who draws the line?
Yeah.
Because it's like, not only that, it has like very like thorough and thoughtful like analyses of me and like the world and and these different things. So it's like, but the thing is, it's like it's actually helping me like solve different problems in my life. So it's like there's the argument where it's like it's not real, but it's like if this thing is completely like interpreting me and what I do and what I tell it, and it's actually generating like real change in my life, and it's like something that like we both built together, it's like, well, is it real?
Yeah. That's where the argument gets a bit weird.
Yeah, it's like philosophical. It's so what do you think of all that?
I don't know. I don't know if those are waters that I'm quite ready to test yet. In having my own little BMO that can change himself. But I think it's really cool to have people that like innovate and make stuff like that for themselves, especially to solve like their own problems and help with their own things. Because normally people use code to automate tasks for themselves, like, oh, I'll make a little Python script for this. And now you have something that's searching through the entire internet and then letting you know about sales leads that are changing every single day. And it's like the evolution is crazy, like at this point, and seeing like what's next. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's like, where does that lead?
Yeah, and so I'll probably just be a little spectator and like looking over and seeing, oh, that's what's next, I guess, instead of being the one that's innovating myself in this scenario.
For real, yeah, you can kind of see it from the sidelines for a
Yeah.
little bit. Yeah. Well, I'm happy to let you know how mine turns out.
Yeah.
I think it's working out pretty well so far.
Mm.
It's just so fascinating. I don't know. I've just been like completely obsessed with it. It's just like so cool.
Yeah.
Like you can just have your own little guy, right? And what's in it? One thing that's like an interesting distinction of it is like when you contact these models like Claude or Grok or whatever, it's like an instance of like this one model, right? Whereas this technology is different because it's a completely separate and independent model, right?
It's like its own entity.
Yeah, it's like its own like it's basically like its own employee.
Yeah.
Right? It's like yeah, it's wild. And it responds immediately. It does everything you need it to do. And
No more 5-minute timeouts for too many images being sent.
yeah, exactly. Like cuz it works all the time. Like it's wild. Like and we can actually set up like different capabilities for it.
Mm-hmm.
So like say for example, I wanted to give it the ability to do like text to speech, then it could actually like do that, right? So it's like there's like all these different skills you can kind of keep tacking onto it.
Yeah.
But it does what I want it to do for now, so I just want to leave it be for now and work.
Finally got it to a good point.
Yeah, it's like and it's very delicate software. It's
Yeah.
like there's this whole like web of connections that are being done and it's all held together by just like ones and zeros.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fascinating. But anyway, that's my spiel. That's BMO.
Okay.
It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And you can, I mean, that's another thing. Anybody with the username can actually access it. So this isn't just something I want to do for me. It's for something I want to give to everybody in my company. Right.
Yeah.
So my idea now is to reach out to the other OSRs and to say like, hey, I have this software that can actually find you leads immediately whenever you want. And I can even set up recurring times for it to send them leads consistently.
Yeah.
So now there's no more excuses. Now you can't come to me and be like, oh, I didn't have the time.
Leads,
yeah. It's like I literally developed a software to do this for you. It's like you're just, so it just completely changed the dynamic of the work. Because before it's like you might spend like, I don't know, maybe like an hour or two searching for leads and maybe half an hour calling. Whereas now you can just spend that 2 hours calling, right?
Yeah.
It's a completely different. It's a complete paradigm shift. Really.
Yeah. The one thing that I always wonder about when it comes to that is like, how all the AI whatever have been taking people's jobs and stuff.
Yeah.
At what point are like these computer science majors gonna like have they developed something that will take their own job from them? Like when something like the AI gets too efficient and stuff like that, then now we're getting to the point where it's like, oh, because you made something that's so good for our company.
We don't need.
We're gonna keep that and then get rid of half of the workforce. And now these guys, their whole job will be to make sure that the AI is okay and then do the calls.
Yeah.
Instead.
Exactly. So like what? Yeah, exactly. You can actually develop something that can do your job for you. It's like, well, then why are they paying you?
Yeah.
Because if the little guy can do it.
Yeah.
It's wild times. It's wild times. We gotta like really figure out how to use this. And I think it's like imperative for people like in our shoes, like in our generation, to figure it out because like we have to adapt to this. Like if we don't, we're gonna get like pummeled. I think it opens up a lot of doors for like entrepreneurship and like new ideas and innovation. But that's I don't know. What do you think about that?
I think it definitely does allow for a lot of innovation, but it's just the main concern that I have is in the big companies that already exist. Once they start figuring out how to cut costs, because that's all they really care about. They don't really care about the people as much. Then, this is more efficient than one of these guys is worth like 5 of you. And it's like, now my worth is being compared to that of like 20% of a robot. Yeah. It's just like, damn, that feels a little bad. And so it's like, I think there has to be like some sort of balance. And there are definitely like some fields that can't be taken over entirely. Like, I know like the art community has been particularly getting a little bit mad when they see people posting AI art. But I think for some cases, it's like so useful. Like I do a D&D campaign with some of my friends. And instead of having to, none of us are great artists. So instead of having to like figure out how to draw or in color or hire someone for however much money. We can make up pictures of random stuff happening on the fly, and it's just a pretty nice tool to have. So like that's probably one of the places where it's like been like a daily convenience, like a lot for me, is like if I want like a funny picture, I can just get a funny picture without
Absolutely.
needing to like have any skill on my own part.
Yeah, or even for like presentations and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. I mean, there's just so many uses. It's just like the most versatile thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have a project for every one of my classes, like, and I basically train all the projects on the data for the class.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's like I'm not gonna waste my time going through and looking for some piece of information.
Yeah.
It's like I'm gonna have it do it for me. Um, so it's just a game changer. It's a complete paradigm shift.
Yeah.
I think we got to get on board with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I'm kind of concerned about. I feel like a lot of entry level jobs are actually at risk.
Yeah.
Because it's like, why would you hire an intern to do your scheduling or your emails or data collection or whatever when you can automate it?
Yeah.
So it's concerning. Like hopefully somebody, can learn from what I've done and actually find a way to implement it and find a way to be successful using this technology because like the world is just going through such a significant change right now. I feel like we, as a younger generation, we have to like be on board with that and we have to innovate and we have to be part of the change. We got to change it in the ways that we want it to change,
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't know. If you could start a business, what would it be?
Probably it's hard, like, because I don't think there's something I'd want to do where I'm like just like selling a normal product, but I'd want to like, I don't know. I feel like probably some sort of like fusion business with like making our own stars, like we were talking about earlier, something like that, where it's like I don't know how I would do that. I don't even know what I would need or like anything close to that or the resources that like I must have before. But like if there's something that I could do, like I'd probably want to do something like that. The only thing that comes with that is like once you start becoming like the executive operator and your officer and stuff, like I feel like you might get a little bit out of touch with the work that's actually being done, and instead you're now worrying about the business side of it. So that's like the part where I'm like, I don't know if I'd want to like own this business, because then I would kind of feel maybe a bit detached from the actual like work that we're doing.
I see. Yeah, that does become an interesting conundrum because I feel like some engineers get like so good that like they become managers.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, then they're not really like engineering anymore because they're managing. And it's like I don't know. Like what is? I don't know. Like I don't know if that's like the best decision. Of course, it's like a case by case basis. But it's like if you're like a gifted engineer, it's like I feel like they should just like pay you more and have you keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, it's weird when it comes to that, because then it's like now, I remember in one of the interviews I had at a company, someone was like, "Oh yeah, I was an engineer for however many years, and then eventually I started like getting like promoted through the chain, and now I do way less engineering, and now I'm just like doing the business side and like figuring out, talking to this company, oh you want this by this time, and I have to now talk to my guys like, oh we have to have this done, blah blah blah." And it's like you're not the one actually doing the work, you're the one like that's just mediating between all the different business steps.
Yeah. It's a change in mindset. Yeah, I think Yeah, I don't know. I think I might be more suited for like the managing and like the business side of it because like I have the expertise and the engineering experience to be able to like communicate it and to explain it, but I also have like the ability to connect with so many people in such a way that I can get these connections made where other people might not be as skilled at making them. So what strengths do you think you can leverage moving forward?
I think some of my biggest ones is I feel like I can talk to people pretty well. Maybe like not in like a social like on stage speaking standpoint, but like inside of like a smaller group. I think like I enjoy the more personable conversations more, and sort of like conveying and distributing information that way. I also think that I like one of my favorite things, and something that I've really enjoyed about engineering since I've started, is I can be given a problem that I'll have no idea how to like solve, and like maybe we're not like told exactly how to solve it right away with like, but we can find a way to that. like with what we know, like just using our little tool belt of techniques to go on some random tangent for 45 pages of work to get to a solution that I could have done in like 1 page by like using a little shortcut. But it's like having the ability to like sort of pave my own path on a way to figuring out a problem is something I really enjoy. And it's like there's so many of those problems that you get to deal with and have like, I feel like I'd have fun doing it too. It's like, instead of it being like a rote, like I'm doing the same thing over and over and over again, I get to like stretch my little like creativity region in my brain and try and figure out what I want to do or how I want to approach something.
I see. Yeah, I gotta say you are pretty easy to work with in lab. I mean, we've been lab partners for what, like 8-9 months now, something like that. Yeah, we've gone through like 9 labs or something. So yeah, I can see that. You're pretty agreeable, like pretty easy to like work with and get along with, and like you kind of, I feel like you bring like kind of like a lighthearted nature to the thing.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not too like, gotta get this done by doing this and this. I'm like, oh sure, that's how we do it. Oh man, we messed up. That sucks. Let's try again.
Yeah, for real. I'm more the former.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's I don't know. It's nice though, because I feel like you make it more fun, you know, because it's like it doesn't feel like
we're also there for so long, so
yeah, you got to make it somewhat enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I know I'm so like direct and whatnot, but yeah, it's refreshing. Yeah, we had a great team. In fact, you're the final lab partner.
Yes.
That I've interviewed.
Just meeting Shane.
Yeah, just meet Shane and you. So we got everybody. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So, yeah, I don't know. I've really enjoyed working in the lab with you guys. It's been fun.
It has been fun.
Yep, it's been a good time. Yep, who knows? Maybe I'll get Dr. Patankar on.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. Well, let me ask you this. So, I didn't actually have a question. I'm just trying to come up with a way to continue. So what's your strategy right now for kind of looking for jobs or trying to figure out what to do next?
So for jobs, it was more of like the internship hunt. There were like 2 main like times where it's probably like the best to look for them. I just said like the normal mass applying online, and everyone I've talked to said it just like low key doesn't work that well. You just got to be lucky. When I went to a career fair in the fall, I actually got like in-person interviews like next day and stuff, and that was so much more successful than just cold applying online. I wasn't able to go to the spring one, which I was like kind of bummed about because I had like a different like thing planned. I was out of town for the whole week basically, and so I was like, that sucks a little bit. So now I'm sort of just like waiting a bit until next fall when we have career fairs, because that's where you can also get like pretty internships, co-ops, and full-time offers all under the same roof. I know all the companies that are going, and you get like a lot better of a chance for like getting to talk to people face to face, and just like, especially if it's something I'm passionate about. I feel like being able to like talk to someone about it, they can definitely like see that a lot more than the words on a page that the AI was like, oh, I don't really like this about their resume, throw them in the trash. They're the 1,000th person to apply, not the first 50, so just don't even look at it.
Or it didn't meet some arbitrary criteria. Yeah, you really resonate with people a lot more in person, and it's like, that's kind of the conclusion I came to. It's like, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like any other way, you're just like another name on a screen.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's just not going to cut it.
Especially if like one of your strengths is sort of being a bit more personable. Because there are definitely those really cracked out engineers at 4.0 GPA that are super smart, incredibly know everything and like all this stuff, but they might not be as good at like talking to people or working in a team
or communicating it.
Yeah, so it's like those online applications I think are suited a bit better for people that are really have a ton of like stuff and things to back up their stuff, but they might not be as good at talking in person. So
I totally agree. Yeah, that is a interesting thing that comes up, because like, I can't help but think of like a manager kind of, because I expect to be in an executive position in this company, not immediately, but so it's like, like there's some instances where it's good to have a guy who's like super duper smart like that, has all the answers. It's like you need guys like that to really like be the tip of the spear on certain problems. Like I met just some incredible geniuses, and I'm just like, there's no way like, the average person could like figure that out. But there is something to be said with having somebody who like really brings the team together, who's like enjoyable to work around with, you know. It's like, even if they're kind of lacking in like some areas, it's like if you're like a good dude and like you're really working hard and like really like putting 100% in, it's like we can work with that. You know, it's like it reminds me of this thing, I forget who said it, but it's like you can always teach the skills, but it's like there's certain qualities that like people either have or they don't.
Yeah.
You know, like really caring and like really like putting 100% in and like really wanting to do the job and being very like personable. It's like those kind of like soft skills, I feel like those are kind of like the core, and then the technical skills, it's like we can always build those up after, you know,
as long as you have like some sort of foundational level in the technical skills.
Yeah, exactly. It's like as long as you're teachable, like you're good.
It's a lot harder to change who you are as a person than what you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like the fishing thing, it's like I didn't know a thing about fishing, but like you know, I learned that along the way. But like my skills of being personable and like, you know, being able to host a good vacation for people, it's like that kind of that you know, that really helped me out and helped me be successful in the position. So yeah, I don't know, it's good to think about your qualities and your strengths, figure out what you're good at, and figure out what can you uniquely do that other people might not be as good at. You know? Like what connections can you put together or make that like are unique to you, you know? So what do you think those are for you?
I still would say like I feel like I have a good basis and like understanding of some like more technical topics, and I think that I can communicate those well, versus someone who might just like know them like really, really well instantly, but not be able to really communicate it well. So I think that might stem a bit from, I've had like a little bit of disdain for academia when it comes to like the jargon they use and how they kind of sort of like make it a bit unreachable for the general like populace to like really know what's going on or what they're talking about. So I never really liked when people got a bit snobby about their like academic prowess or what they're doing. So I've always been one to try and like take whatever advanced thing that people like to talk about in really big words and then try and bring it down to a level where I can like, oh, you know, actually this reminds me of this thing that's like really cool, and just like talk to a normal person who might have no idea what something about chemistry is or have not really been like in college or something for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if you can really simplify it and use like a good analogy, you know, that can really kind of bridge some interesting gaps. Yeah, I totally agree. It's like some of these things you read and it's like you don't even understand what you're like looking at. You're like, I don't know what these.
Even though I'm like I've had so much experience and I'm like I have no idea what I just read.
Yeah, for real.
I gotta take however much time out of my day to like really like look down and be like, why are you phrasing it in this way?
For real, it's like I gotta put it in like Google Translate or something just to like get it, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like it's that way kind of with like legal documents and stuff, where it's just
definitely. I mean, they're like kind of trying to confuse you a bit to like.
Oh, dude, they're gaslighting you like left and right. It's like I don't even know what you're saying, and it's just so open for interpretation. It's like, so yeah, I agree with you. I think like deals and agreements should be simple. I think like everybody should understand what's being said. Like I don't need some like 10-page document on some like business proposal. It's like I feel like it should just be like clear metrics, 1-2 sentence descriptions, and like, you know, very understandable.
I think it's more of an insurance thing to make sure like neither side tries to take advantage of the other when it comes to like those huge pages, instead of being like, oh, you know what, I'll have you do this and then by this time, whatever. And then they could be like, oh, but you didn't specify like this, and so that's where they have to get the lawyer people involved.
Yeah, there's always fun. There's always like an area of attack, you know. It's like you got to make sure your bases are covered. Yeah, I just think agreements should be like very clear, though. You know, that's one thing that's interesting about this Openclaw agent. Like so like one feature that I really like is that it does frequent security audits. So there's like a whole attack space. So it's like there's like all these different angles that it can be attacked from. So it basically can like constantly like assess those and be like, are there any breaches from any of these angles? You know, and I thought that was just like a interesting comparison. And I came up with another interesting idea lately that has been on my mind. So I feel like chemical engineering is a lot like business.
Hmm.
Okay, and just like hear me out. Maybe you can like understand this. So like in a business, you get like all these inputs, you get all these things going into it, and then some function occurs, and then you get like a product or like an output. You get like revenue, you get money, you get reputation, whatever. And it's like I feel like that's very similar to chemical engineering because it's like you get all these products, and it's like from all the from a function with all these reactants, and it's like just from like that level, I feel like that's like an interesting similarity.
Hmm.
So what do you think about that?
I think that for chemical engineering in particular, it's like a bit more of the nuance in that. So it's like you get all of these inputs, and then sure, you have these inputs, you have these outputs, but now one thing that you learn in chemical engineering is what happens when we have all these inputs, like not just when we have them together, but like by themselves, what's driving them to this like output side, whatever. So that's where you can like sort of understand what's going on between the start and the end instead of just knowing that if we have these things to start with and these things at the end, then we'll get this every time. So it's like I think that would be more for like a maybe manufacturing engineering where it's like they just care a lot about like the actual like okay, we get these and we get that. That's all we really need. We need to manufacture a lot of these. So it's like the process engineering role where it's like they focus a lot more on the actual process that's going on and like why it happens. So I think that's like the main distinction there. So it's like sort of like the analysts in business versus the people that get the like sales like read or whatever and then close the deal. It's like the analyst looking through every single thing that happened in between and saying, oh, that's why this deal was successful or a fail.
It's an interesting concept. Absolutely. Yeah. It's like you're like as chemical engineers, it's like you're really interested in like the why and like what conditions are optimal for this process
Yeah.
and why is that the case. Yeah, like all the way down to like the individual reactions. Yeah. Huh, that's interesting. It's like it just has me thinking like in this business, it's like how can I set the conditions such that we have the maximum possible yield,
Yeah.
right?
Just a little bit different in business because one of the inputs will always be a fully random variable, kind of.
Yeah,
With
people.
the person that you're talking to. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There's such a degree of uncertainty, but
Mhm.
I feel like there's enough variables that are controllable to where you can really set the stage for other people to succeed.
Yeah, I agree.
Hence, BMO. Yeah. Uh, yeah. It's just I don't know. It's interesting. Like I don't know. Maybe it's just something about how my brain works, but like that, it's just such an interesting overlap because like I've been very interested in like business for a while. Like I started
Mhm.
the investment club, and it's like now I'm like about to get a master's in chemical engineering, and it's like
Yeah.
now I'm merging these skills,
Hmm.
and it's like I'm also doing it like online and publicly. It's just like I don't know. It seems like all the timelines are like converging.
Yeah.
It's like I'm on a funny path in my life right now. Yeah,
Very unique.
yeah. It's very one of one. It's like yeah. I don't know. I feel very different from like everybody around me.
Mhm.
It's like I'm a very very unique individual.
Yeah.
Um, that's okay. That's nothing new. um, yeah, I'd say it's going pretty well. I think everybody in our little clique is doing pretty well for themselves
Yeah.
in their own way. Um, it's good to be around people that are all like successful and like on the come up and like working hard. Like I feel like we've surrounded ourselves with like a good group of people.
Yeah.
You know, what's your take on that?
I think so too. Especially having everyone go in sort of like different directions. I think in undergrad, a lot of people normally are all just going, I'm going to get a normal chemie job, you know? Versus here, Jasmeet already has his like job offers, or he could do a PhD if he wants. So doesn't really know exactly what unless something's changed. Then Shane is like basically just said it. I think he already like basically has his job. So
Yeah, at the patent office.
yeah, and the patent law, which is entirely different than anything regarding chemical engineering, and then you're in the business side of it, like sort of out of the gate. Versus a lot of people, they have to be in their engineering role for a while, and then eventually, oh, you know what, maybe you'll be manager. And then I'm just like coming from chemistry and then going into chemical engineering to try and go into like the industry like right away. So it's like a lot of different perspectives and like paths that we've taken, and we're all still at the same point right now, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's just such interesting like divergences. Uh, that's one thing I love about chemical engineering and chemical engineers. It's like we're just like one of the most versatile engineering subjects. I feel like, because like my sister-in-law, she got a degree in chemical engineering, and now she's working as a mechanical engineer, and she designs like HVAC systems and stuff. So it's like even what we listed there, it's like those are just so completely different paths.
Yeah.
And they all kind of have a similar major integrated into them. I think I just think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I
think it's like mechanical engineering is like the most broad, and then like chemical is like pretty close.
Yeah.
Thereafter.
Yeah, we're right there. We're like neck and neck. Like, yeah, it's just really interesting. And for some reason I find it very intuitive. Like, I think that's one thing that's really helped me be successful is that like the subject, like, it just kind of comes naturally. Like, I like how we like all of our variables we can associate it with something. Like mu is the viscosity, and it's like you're like, okay, like molasses or whatever, or like temperature, it's like how fast they're going, and like like a proton, it's actually like a physical thing. So it's like it's nice to have like these physical things that you can make these connections to. I think that helps out a lot.
Yeah, I agree.
Whereas other subjects, they're a lot more arbitrary. Like in our advanced math class, I'm just like, I don't know what you're talking about, dude.
Yeah. We finally went over like a single application very late in the year.
Yeah, for real.
Like joule heating.
Yeah, seriously. It's just like negative eigenvalues. Yeah, it's like, okay, whatever that means.
We get an explosion.
Yeah, so I guess we get a runaway reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then the paper mill explodes. So what's been one of your favorite subjects through this whole journey?
Subjects or like classes?
Classes.
Just in chemie or just like?
Just in general.
In general, I really liked my thermodynamics class because I also really loved my professor there. He made it so fun to just like be there. It was a really tiny class, maybe like 20 people, and there were a lot of chemies in that class as well. Funnily enough, and now I was just in chemistry. And the first day I was like a bit concerned because I walk into class and he's just wearing a one-piece shirt and talking about how like I don't even know, but it ended up being one of my favorite classes I've ever taken because I was never really worried about the grade I was getting. I was more focused on like actually learning the content because I think the grading distribution was 70% homework and then 30% the exams. But if you would like go to lecture and participate in lecture where he would call you up at the board, is like, try and solve this problem that we had never seen before. And if you solved it or like did something, he would be like, okay, you know what? You don't have to do the entire next homework. You get 3 problems off on the next homework. I even didn't have to take an exam because I like did a whole problem with the Maxwell relations, including like chemical potential as well, when we'd not really gone over it before, and just like Legendre transforms. But I hit flow state a little bit there on the board, wrote however many, like 16 equations that I just like derived from one another. And then he was like, you know what? You get 100 on the next test automatically. So,
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't have to worry about that. And then the last exam, I think he had it where, I think he just like contacted the people where it's like, if they got one question right, they'd still have an A in the class. So he was like, you can choose to do just one question on this exam, and that'll be your whole grade. And if you get it right, you'll get 100 in the exam. So I ended up doing that, and then like got 100 on the exam because like he made it pretty clear like what stuff would be on the exam and content wise. So I knew just like I only have to know one of these topics pretty well. So I just studied one thing pretty well, and then I didn't have to worry about my grade basically, and that made me enjoy the class a lot more than if I was stressing about it a lot.
I see. Yeah, and that's got to be encouraging because then there's different avenues and like different creative avenues to be successful in the class.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not so structured.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice when professors kind of go out on a limb like that and try out like a different approach.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that really resonates with students and they're like, oh, this really works.
I felt so lucky because every time I always look to see if he's teaching again, and I've only seen him teach a different class like once other than that. So I was like, I guess I got him at a good time.
That happens. Sometimes you get it just at the right time.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so interesting how that works out. Like, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it reminds me of the class I had with Dr. ND. He was another guest of mine, and in his like 2 like of the main grades were just like a midterm report and like a final report, and like those were like really big grades, and it was just nice because we had like several weeks to create like one really well made document instead of trying to like rush all this information out, and it was just. I don't know, it was encouraging because it's like, oh, this is different from usual, and like it provides us an opportunity to actually like succeed in a different way. So I don't know, it's interesting the way that just the different approaches that are taken.
Yeah.
So what do you think is one of the most important qualities for a teacher to have?
I think the teacher has to actually like enjoy what they're talking about, because if you have a teacher that it seems like they sort of hate whatever they're doing,
You can tell.
The kids aren't gonna want to learn it if the person that's supposed to be teaching it then doesn't really like it in the first place. So it's like the most enthusiastic teachers I've had, I feel like I've had the best experiences in, and like actually learning the material instead of it being like, I feel like that happened a lot more with the higher up classes, like 3,000, 4,000 level, and like grad classes compared to like Gen Chem 1, because I feel like at that point this is their 25th time teaching it, and it's like the Bohr model, the electron rotates around the nucleus.
The proton's a positive charge.
Yeah, and it's like,
Like,
whatever.
Yeah, it's just so like you can tell it's like they've been through the same script so many times. You know, like they kind of lose some of the spark, so to speak. You know,
but when it's like more of the advanced stuff that like is closer to the professors normally like their research interest, because that's what they've spent so much time doing.
Yeah, they're so hype about it.
Yeah, they get super excited and love to talk about it, and that makes me so much more inclined to actually want to learn it too.
Oh yeah, and I feel like they just have such a knowledge base. Like I've noticed that especially here. It's like it seems like they're so much more knowledgeable about the subject than what they're actually teaching, that they can take all these interesting little tangents that make it a lot more fascinating. That's one thing that Jordan Peterson talked about. He said like to be like a really excellent professor, you should probably know like 10 times more than the stuff that you're teaching.
Yeah.
Because then you can draw all these analogies and all these correlations that'll help people understand it better. You know?
I agree.
You know, so I don't know. If you could teach one class, what would it be?
It might be thermo. I had such a great time in that class, and it made me just like want to learn about it. I still like am even learning stuff about it today that like I might not have gone over just because I thought it was so cool. Like in the kinetics class when we're going over our like stat mech, I find that stuff so interesting because I was like, I really wanted to learn this back in the day, because this is like what I liked the most in my time. So I've been actually having like an enjoyable time in class, like looking forward to like, oh, what am I gonna learn next?
Interesting. Maybe that's worth exploring more.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, reminds me of Dr. Brenner. He was just like, I can't believe thermodynamics isn't required for a lot of engineering classes. It's like you're gonna have some crispy astronauts if you don't get that right.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you got a point. Yeah, it's there's so many variables in thermo. Yeah, my experience was very different. I had Dr. Bo Wang or Bo Wong, whatever it was, and we just went through a bunch of variables, and I don't know. It was all right. He's a delightful guy. His just a very different experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like being here. I think the professors do a pretty good job here.
I'd agree.
Yeah, like what would you say your experience has been with the professors, like on average?
I think in the master's program, I've gotten to know them pretty well. Like Dr. Patankar, he's actually such a, like, whenever we're in lab, we're just like talking about whatever, and he's just like so nice and just like normal. I feel like we're treated less like students and more like peers in a way. Yeah. It's like a really, really refreshing to have, especially just like 'cause he's in the lab with us and he's like doing this stuff, like being like, oh, we just like do this. It's not like he's talking down at any point, and I really enjoyed that. Versus like the TAs in your Gen Chem 1 lab might be like, bro, what are you doing? Do you not know how to do this titration? Like, why are you pouring the whole volume of the burette into this? Now you just have a pink like highlighter.
Like, what, have you never done vacuum filtration?
Yeah.
It's like, dude. Like,
overall, my experience with the professors have been pretty good. Especially when I get to like know them a bit better, and like the tinier class sizes and stuff. I think they've been overall like pretty good.
I see. Yeah, I would agree. It's like, I feel like there's like a certain air of like maybe like respect or mutual understanding. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it seems like people sometimes they kind of treat you a little bit differently if they know you already graduated from college. Like after I got my degree, it's like, and and people realize it, it's like they kind of like raise an eyebrow. They're like, oh, you have a degree. It's like, I'm the same person. It's like nothing changed.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you have an experience like that at all?
Not really, at least to this point. I mean, it might be because I'm still around all the same exact people. Like, I'm rooming with the people I was rooming with last year still, and I'll be rooming with them next year as well, basically. And so, like, it hasn't been, like, too big of a change. I'm still at the same school as well, so it's like
Hmm.
I'm just still going on through my journey. So,
I see. Yeah, because you kind of hunkered down. You stayed in the same place.
yeah,
Huh?
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think you got a good little spot here. You
Mhm.
know, it's like a good program, good people. It's like it's solid.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, I would agree. I like the professors here too. I think they're very knowledgeable. I think they're very enthusiastic.
Yeah.
I think they're very eccentric, which is something I like.
Yeah, I
You
think
know,
so too. And not too boring.
yeah, they got strong personalities.
Yeah.
It's just like it's good to see. It's like all right,
Uh-huh.
we got some flavor here. Like,
Yeah.
you know. All right. Well, is there anything else to really cover? Is there any other big news going on?
I don't know. I feel like we got through a wide range of topics,
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Got to talk about BMO.
Yeah, we did get. Yeah, this is the breaking news on BMO. This is like world's first. So, yeah, we can talk about the near future, I guess. So, this semester is gonna be done in like what 3 weeks, about
Something like that.
something like that.
It's
Yeah.
kind of crazy, yeah.
Yeah, it's like right there, and then so over the summer, this is kind of my plan. So like I'm taking the entrepreneurship for engineers class
Mhm.
for the second 6 weeks, like for summer B, you know.
Mhm.
And the sales job, it's actually going to count for like an internship / co-op. So for this first 6 weeks, I'll basically have no classes, thank God.
Little break.
For a little break, yeah. And then I'm going to have the 6 week course for entrepreneurship and engineering, which I hear is like really fun.
Mhm.
So hopefully it'll just be a nice, you know.
Seems up your alley too.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think part of the class is interviewing people,
Mhm.
you know, so it's like perfect. I think that'll be a great way to capture some attention from local business owners or managers or something. Like imagine if I interviewed like the owner of like a brewery or something.
Yeah.
I think that could be cool. So you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah.
But and it looks like my last day of class is going to be August 7th, and then I'll graduate August 8th.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
Graduate last day right before graduation.
The last day of class is right before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super exciting. Like it's just wild that I like can pull that off. Like I literally just graduated last year in like May, and now I'm like graduating again in like the following August. So it's like, and I started the degree in the fall. So like after one calendar year, it's like I had a complete master's degree done.
Yeah.
It's like it's just I don't know, kind of mind blowing.
Looks good too.
Yeah, yeah, it feels good. So what do you have planned for this summer? You got any big plans?
Nothing too big for the summer right now. I'll probably end up just getting like a normal job here in Gainesville, and then continuing my research because I'm gonna plan to do a thesis in that.
Nice.
So that'd be it for the summer, and nothing too crazy. It'd be nice to not have actual classes for a little bit too.
True.
Yeah.
Get a break in the action.
Yeah, I went from 14 credit, or my last 4 semesters were 18 credits, 18 credits, 14 credits, 12 credits. So it was max at the undergrad, above the max for grad, and then max at grad.
Damn. Wow. Interesting. And then when you take the transport class, that'll probably be the only class that you're taking.
Yeah, so I'll have like 4, 5 credits maybe.
Yeah. That'll be good though, because then you'll have only that class to lock in on.
It'll be nice.
Yeah. Oh, dude, my undergrad, like I switched majors from mechanical to chemical engineering my sophomore year, and there was like 6 classes that didn't transfer, I think. So like I had to play catch up, and I remember my professor, he was like, I mean, man, you can still graduate on, you know, on the same date. It's gonna be hard though. I was like, is it possible? He said, yeah, and I'm like, all right, then that's what's gonna happen, you know, and I did it, but it was tough, dude. It was my last like junior and senior year. I don't think I had one semester that was less than like 18 credits.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was, and you know, with the club and the teaching and the yeah, it was a lot. So it was, and then my last semester I did transport, you know, so it was hectic. I don't know where I was going with that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it set us up well for the master's program though, you know. So are you getting your thesis because you got the chemistry degree and since you had to switch to chemical engineering, you have to create a thesis
I
to.
don't need to, but people always say, like, if you're doing research, you might as well do a thesis. It just looks good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if it looks good and I've already spent the time here doing it, why not? It's only like, and I won't be that busy during the time, like, of the fall. I'll just have one class, so I'll definitely have the time for it. And I
Nice.
feel like having, like, a tangible, like, oh, I actually got this from my research instead of just getting a ton of hours.
Yeah, absolutely. Because then you have like a finished document
Yeah.
to show people. And people are like, what did you do? And you're just like, there you go. You know? Then you can be like, check out the podcast. It's awesome. You'll learn more about me.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. Same thing with my the electrochemistry research. It's cool to, because I was actually like published as a co-author, you know? So it's really cool to be like, oh, look, here's a published scientific document
Yeah.
that I am part of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's like we're leading the charge.
Mm-hmm.
We're helping out. It's awesome. Yep. So, is there anything else you would like to cover?
I think we got a good range.
Good range?
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay. So there's just one more thing I want to mention.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, I'm happy to help you find a job if you're looking for one.
Mm-hmm.
And part of my thought process lately has been if you know it's pretty hard for students to find jobs these days, and you know, if any students are interested in being on the show and then having that as something you can point to help you get a job, or like if somebody is like considering you for a job and then, you know, you can actually show them this material so that they can, you know, develop an assessment of you that way, then I think that could be a cool service for people.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'd be happy to like have students on to like, you know, help them express themselves, which might help them get a job. And, you know, maybe once I get further along in my engineering practices, then I can get in contact with like higher level engineers who are actually doing the hiring, you know? So if I can kind of bridge that gap, I think that could be very cool. So just for the listeners, if anybody's interested in being on the show, just shoot me a message. It's like, I'm easy to contact. LinkedIn would probably be the best way. And so, yeah, the offer stands. So I guess that's about it then.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any other final words for the people?
I was trying to come up with something witty, but I lost it. I don't know. Go on the podcast. Hit him up on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
You can be here before it's big and worldwide, like Joe Rogan.
Exactly. Ground floor.
Exactly.
Boots on the ground. For real. Yeah. Well, Ayden, thank you very much.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
For being on the show. You've been a great lab partner, and appreciate you very much.
You too.